Hey everyone, Social Solipsist here for another episode of 52 and 52. And this week I have been playing Overwatch. And man, have I been playing a lot of it. I am putting this one in advance of a couple of other games that really belong earlier chronologically, solely because of its sort of timeliness with its full release and all that, and it being in the news and trying to get viewership on this video. But whatever. So Overwatch, I got kind of convinced to buy into it by my two friends who I've mentioned before, Red October and Spencer, who sort of bullied me into it a little bit. And it wasn't that I wasn't interested. I should say, I had seen it was hard not to know that it was coming. The marketing did a very good job. Blizzard's marketing did a very good job of getting the information about the game out there, and the PR and all that was quite well done. So I knew it was out there. I wasn't really excited for it. I noticed that it looked nice and looked like it potentially had promise. But nothing about it really stood out to me as I really, really, really want to play this. Maybe too many times of getting screwed over by hype. I just don't get hype over games anymore. But this is even beyond that. I was just it was another shooter to me. And honestly, right up until I actually started playing it, I was very concerned that it was going to feel like a reskin of Team Fortress 2 or another sort of similar type of thing. And to a small extent, it does feel a bit like TF2. But that by no means does it any justice whatsoever. This is very much a culmination of some of the best game design that's come out of the last 15 years, both of shooters, of MOBAs, puzzle platformers. Even I would throw in there. This game is pretty extraordinary in what it's sort of synthesized together. I hesitate to call it a first-person shooter just because it is so very focused on the abilities that the characters have and all that. But we'll get there in a minute. I guess so. You've got all these different characters, and they all play very, very uniquely. It must be said that there doesn't feel like there's any overlap really with any of them. And they all feel great with the exception of one. And they really did a really good job of polishing all of their work to make this a really great thing. Like I said, it's got your classic kind of arcade shooter style feel. But on top of that, they add a lot of verticality to the levels. You really have to think in a 3D space as far as strategy. And it incorporates a lot of those sort of MOBA sensibilities. I would almost tie it a little bit to Smite, which some of you may be familiar with, which is sort of the bridges the gap between your classic isometric MOBA and more of a third-person or first-person type of gameplay. And it really works really well. We started playing and I was honestly blown away because I was having a sensation I've not had in a long time, which is just I was having pure fun. Like I said, not a sensation I'd had in a long time. I have I don't want to say with age because I'm not that old, but with age I have gotten more and more cynical and more nitpicky about my games, and that joy of gameplay that I was feeling as I dropped into it and just ignored whatever concerns I had, which I really didn't have much. That was something great. Now, to be fair, at this point I've put in about 15 hours, 10 to 15 hours. So the honeymoon is over. I have had my first salty moments of you know, getting truly frustrated, going on tilt a little, and realizing I need to step back from it. But that's inevitable in any game, no matter how good it is. But beyond just the really solid gameplay, you know, the visuals, they're really well polished. The level design, while I may not love all of the levels, have been very, very well thought out. You know, these what's the term I'm looking for? Asymmetrical maps and those sort of things are very well put together. And like I said, the stylized visuals work very, very well. The gameplay itself, or the game engine itself rather, runs incredibly smoothly. Even on, I've mentioned my hardware in the past, and though it is powerful, it is showing its age. And so, seeing a game that's properly optimized for even a little bit older but still powerful hardware is nice to see. And I even installed it on my 6-year-old laptop, which has a 525M GTX or a GT or GTX 525M in it. And even there, it was able to run. It didn't look good, but it was able to run at a pretty solid frame rate. And I didn't even have to tweak the settings. The game itself detected my hardware. It didn't say anything. It just, you know, booted into it and ran smoothly. So I was pretty impressed with that. You know, I'm having a really good time with the game. I gotta say, I was very hesitant, as I mentioned, dropping 40 bucks on a game that I didn't know if I was gonna like or spend a whole lot of time in, but it's really surprised me. As I have mentioned, there are a few characters that I would like a few little tweaks to, and let's just say I'm not very fond of Bastion, but that has been going around the internet pretty thoroughly. The dislike of Bastion, but I'm going to make a whole separate video, or I plan to make a whole separate video on the issues with Bastion, and I'm not going to tear him to shreds because I think there's good and bad there to be worked with. But yeah, I don't know if I'd necessarily have dropped the 40 bucks on it if it hadn't been for playing with friends, but for that, you know, I feel like I've already gotten my money's worth. Yeah. So I think that's it for this week. Like I said, I've got, probably 5 weeks of videos queued up to go for the next 5 weeks. So I've got quite a lot to get through. And a couple of other side projects, like I said, the Bastion video and a few others that I'd like to do. So look forward to those in the future. Hopefully I'll get those out pretty quick here. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.
The wonders of modern medicine.